Okay, so I have another experiment for you. And this is building on the work that I taught you for the jaw in the Anatomy Trains webinar. You can buy that webinar for $50 from Anatomy Trains. There's a link below this video. But and that involves a lot of like really understanding jaw muscle anatomy. But you can work with other movements in the cranium to address artery tension up into cranium. You can move the eyes. You can, I've experimented with moving the tongue or using a piece of fabric to hold the tongue to lengthen it. You could use the voice, vocal muscles that siren up and down. So I want to give you just a glimpse into what that might look like. And this is assuming that most of you have done the basic work of lengthening carotid artery by stabilizing the sternum and then tying an imaginary balloon onto an ear. And you lift just till the very first place where you feel a little pull in the neck. It's not going to feel like a muscle stretch. You're just feeling the first hint of a pull. And then you breathe in and out. And as you breathe out, your heart drops away from the cranium a little bit, and you get a little bit of a vascular stretch, a stretch along the carotid artery and vagus nerve pathways. And then you come back, and we didn't do a pretest, but ideally you do a pretest, and then you test out the movement again, and you feel a change. Anyway, so there's a lot of fancy work that you can do for the jaw in that regard. But I wanted to introduce you to the idea of working with eyes. So you can have artery tension to eye muscles, and you can have difficulty moving your eyes into one corner of your vision field. Eye muscles are kind of complicated. There's one on top and bottom that they tilt the eyeball. Like there'd be a muscle on the top and a muscle on the bottom. And the one on the top would turn the eye up, and the one on the bottom would turn the eye down. You've got similar muscles on the sides of the eye, where if one pulls, it turns the eye. If the other one pulls, it turns the eye the other direction. And then there are some muscles that if the eye were a steering wheel on a ship, it turns the eye a little bit this way and this way. Anyway, there are a lot of eye muscles. And you can do kind of sophisticated work without having a really clear picture of what each muscle is doing, with the same principle as what I did for the jaw. So here's the example. So I would close my eyes or have the client close their eyes, and I would just move my eyeballs left and right. And you might notice that their head moves a little bit too, because it's when they move their eyes, it triggers the occipital muscles, the suboccipitals, to fire, and it tends to move the head a little bit. They're just wired together. But mostly what you're having them do is test to see which direction is it more difficult to move the eyes. And if I'm looking, it's more difficult for me to move my eyes to the right. It's like they hit a wall and they don't want to go further when I'm looking to the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the direction of difficulty. And then I can choose, actually, if I put a balloon on this ear, I'm adding artery tension to this carotid. If I put a balloon on the other ear, I'm actually giving artery slack to this side and tension on that side. So I could play with either one. I'm looking over to the left, and I think I'm going to try balloon on the other ear. And I pause. That actually gives me ease in the eye over here. I breathe in and out, and then come up, and I just want to post test and see if it's the same ease that I have in moving left and right. So with my eyes closed, it actually is a little bit easier. It's not as easy to move down and to the right. So I could play with right carotid, I could play with left. Earlier today, I was playing with right, and I was probably adding tension to the side that already has tension, and it wasn't as productive. So I'm going to try the opposite side, like I just did. And so I'm looking right and down a little bit, which is the difficult direction. And then I'm going to add the balloon to the other ear, to my left ear, and pause there and breathe in big and out. And then back to center. And now, if it were a client, I would have them open their eyes briefly to bring them so that I can connect with them and bring them to the present. But then I'll have them close their eyes again and look left and right. My eyes are, when I look left, they're doing this swoopy up thing, like they're not looking straight left. So I need something to balance that out. I might stretch this side while I'm looking to the left. Okay, so this is my third and last demonstration move. I'm looking left. I'm going to lift the right ear and breathe in and out. And then back to center. And I'm going to look left and right. That is better, better. And now before I stop though, I'm going to do something integrative with eyes open. And I want to connect it to the whole body. So if I feel my feet on the floor, I'm going to deepen my right footprint. It presses into the floor. My right foot does as I turn my whole body to the left. And this is, especially if I've done other work for neck and thorax, this is nicely integrative. But I'm going to ask the client, what do you see over on that side of the room? Choose an object. And I see a teapot. Okay, and then I'm going to come back. And then I'm going to deepen my left footprint and turn to look the opposite side. And what do I see? Is I see a light. And then come back. And I would ask the client, what is it you see? And have them name something. That's actually a technique you can use whenever you feel like somebody's gone so deeply internal that they might be almost experiencing some triggering of past trauma. Not that that's bad, but you don't necessarily want to go down the rabbit hole and re-experience it. And so to bring anybody, anytime you need to bring them to present, you can connect them to the floor and you can have them survey the horizon. And that is really about talking to to your instincts about whether it's safe. You know, if you're surveying the horizon, there are no tigers over here, there are no tigers over there. You've checked out the situation and it calms the nervous system down. Connecting to the floor calms the nervous system down. But I hope you enjoy the eye work. It's fun to play with. If you feel a little bit disoriented in the middle, don't worry. Just try reconnecting to the ground and looking at a real object to the left and right. And I think you'll feel organized again.